Hello everybody, it's Sinead. I recently saw a video by Blonde in the Belly of the Beast that was entitled Sensitivity to Women's Feelings Will Be the Death of Us, Orlando Reactions. While watching this video, I was pretty disturbed at some of the things that were coming out of this seemingly white woman's mouth. This rhetoric is extremely dangerous in the middle of a genocide, where it's not just white men that are being genocided, it's not just white women who are being genocided, the white race is being genocided. So what we're gonna do, I figured I would just play it and I'll show you the clips and then I'll pause it and then respond to some of the statements that this woman is making. So first of all, this woman is believing the mainstream narrative that has been given to everybody that apparently 50 homosexual Latinos were shot at Pulse nightclub here in Orlando, Florida. And it was apparently done by a crazy Muslim guy, Omar Mateen, who is an actor. I can show you his IMDb page has been scrubbed from the internet. How convenient. He was in many different films. You can go and actually see that for yourself. Just look up Omar Mateen actor, or maybe I'll link something in the description. So, first of all, this is being based on an event that did not even happen to our knowledge. I've seen zero proof that 50 homos were gunned down. All we've seen is ridiculous footage of people being carried towards the club and then put down on the ground to then walk away, even though they were apparently injured. And we've seen reports that there were 0 ambulances that arrived to this mass casualty event, which is unheard of, especially when the hospital is 3 minutes walking distance and even less of a drive. Orlando is a major city. There would be ambulances from many different jurisdictions sent out to help these people in a mass casualty event scenario. However, that did not happen. We also have GS4 with ties to intelligence. That was the security firm or the security company that was doing the security at this event. There's a lot of things that don't add up. So first of all, I find it concerning that the majority of the pro-white movement is going with these narratives without doing any investigation, without seeing any proof. So first of all, that's not logical at all. You're going off of something you heard, you've seen zero proof for this, and you're just going to believe the Jewish media. But apparently, the Jews are not our enemy, according to this lady. It's actually Islam.
There's a misconception about causation here, particularly in women and these dickless leftist men. They think that the source of all Islamic misconduct, despite its uniform presence across all Muslim countries, is emotional damage caused by Western oppression.
First of all, we need to understand who brought these people here. The Jews, okay? Look behind every single person that's pushing for immigration reform or is pushing anti-white propaganda. You'll find a Jew or a Shabbos Goy. And this lady fails to mention the Jews at all in her speech, and you'll see later on condemns women, and they're more at fault than Jews, apparently, that brought the Muslims here. Events like this, the Holocaust, as we're calling it now, 9/11, all of these events were pulled off by the Mossad. It's very, very easy for our country, which is a Zionist-occupied government right now, that is run by majority dual Israeli citizens. It's very easy for them, with all of their intelligence networks working together, to pull off these fake staged events. Now, 9/11 clearly was not a fake staged event, but of course it was pinned on the Muslims, who apparently they magically found a burnt passport that somehow made it through the burning inferno and melted steel beams, but the passports magically made it out. And oh, wow, would you look at that? It happens to be a Muslim. Now, when I say this to people, they automatically get triggered and think, you're defending the Muslims. You like them. No, I don't want them here. But I don't want our men and women going and dying in Jewish wars to go kill these people, because that's what they're doing. The Jews want these people gone so they can expand greater Israel. And who are they getting to do it? Us. Your sons and your daughters are dying for Jewish wars. That's it. What have we been doing in the Middle East? Has anything gotten better? No. No, it hasn't. they will justify now going into Iran because of all these Muslim terrorists that totally are lone wolves, and they had no help at all from intelligence networks, the Mossad, the CIA, MI6. No, they didn't help them at all. It was just some lone nutter. I mean, it's the same thing with Dylan Stormroof. It's the same thing with all of these fake shootings. I mean, they're not real. Why did they pass legislation that allows them to fake news stories? Anybody care to answer that one? It's legal. It's legal for them to lie to us. Okay? You think they're not going to actually do it? So just to paint the picture here, she's going off of zero evidence that this event happened, and she's going to use this somehow to prove her point about how women suck or something. So let's see.
Women and effeminate men, particularly gay men, seek social acceptance pathologically.
Okay, she says women and emotional or gay men or whatever, we seek social acceptance pathologically. Now, I don't see that at all in my life. I think all of us have been programmed to hate ourselves and to want to fit in with the multi-cult that has no basis in our roots or our ancestry and removes all of our identity away from us and lumps us into this multicultural crap mess. But now I don't understand how you could say that women are and comparing women and gay men as if we think the same or something. That's disgusting. No. I'm not thinking about putting things in people's butts. That's just me. I know I'm a breeder over here. Now, then later on she'll say, the whole Black Pigeon Speaks talking point, or the whole manosphere talking point, that women, we do not want to be with our in-group, or we're disloyal to our in-group. Well, if we want to be socially accepted and we're pathologically inclined to do so, how are we then not trying to be part of an in-group? Just questions. And I hope you make a response video, because I just really trying to understand where you're coming from here, and it's very scary. So Black Pigeon Speaks, another person that does not name the Jew, that blames all women, because apparently white women, Hispanic women, black women, Asian women, Indian women, we all think and act the exact same. But if I were to compare all men, they would say, no, well, black men are different than white men, and yes, because they are. They never make this a white woman thing. It's just all women are destroying civilizations, and so they'll point to voting statistics. Those aren't racially broken down. I mean, you can find the ones that are broken down into racial groups, and you'll see that white women vote majority right. They vote majority conservative. Not that I think that means anything, because the whole thing is rigged. It's called the Hegelian dialectic: divide and conquer, Pepsi, Coke, Democrat, Republican, black or white. It's dividing and conquering us. So a lot of these conversations are just dead ends. Women need to stop voting because they vote left and the right is better. Really? Yeah. And this woman is clearly a Donald Trump supporter. Donald Trump with some of the most Jewish ties to the GOP that anyone has ever had. And
Black Pigeon Speaks and Stefan Molyneux, I've linked below, have excellent segments outlining how women seek social acceptance by any group, even at the expense of their own group. Oh, and Stefan Molyneux, another Jew who will never ever call out his tribe for what they're doing and continue to do and continue to rub in our faces. They're not even just being quiet about it, like, let's kill all the white people. They're like, hey, white people, you need to be wiped off the face of the earth. We hate you. You are responsible for everything bad. It's not subtle. It's in your face. You have people like Barbara Lerner Specter here. Let me play the clip for you so you get a refresher.
I think there's a resurgence of anti-Semitism because at this point in time, Europe has not yet learned how to be multicultural. And I think we're going to be part of the throes of that transformation, which must take place. It's a huge transformation for Europe to make. They are now going into a multicultural mode, and Jews will be resented because of our leading role. But without that leading role and without that transformation, Europe will not survive.
And Jews will be at the center of that. I mean, what more proof do you people need that it's Jews? Are you guys just cowards? Are you doing this so you get lots of followers and shekels or something? Because clearly when you call out the real enemy, you don't get a lot of followers. I know that. but I'm not doing this for followers. I'm not doing this for attention and to be a special snowflake. I'm doing this because we are literally backed into a corner right now, and not enough people are having the guts and the bravery to stand up and name the frickin' Jew elephant in the room. It's hanging out there, sucking up all the shekels, sucking up all the shekels and frickin' shitting all over the floor, and you people are like, oh, look at those women over there. Those women suck. It's like, hello, blinking, flashing lights, it's the Jew. What do I have to do to make it more obvious? Now, she goes on to say that these feminists are, welcoming these rapists into their countries. I see a lot of the times this photoshopped image of a woman who's not even from Germany. She was from Canada, but facts are not important to these people. It's just really about mafeels. As much as you all love to go on about logic and reason, you're not using it at all. So this photoshopped image of a woman that says, we'll trade racists for rapists on a sign. And apparently, according to the alt-right and the manosphere and all these people, she was in Germany, and I think it was after the Cologne incident, and she was holding up this sign. And they photoshopped it, as I said before. It was a woman in Canada in a completely unrelated event and said, we'll trade racists for refugees. Now, do I agree with that? No, I think she's retarded. But what good is it going to do to wipe out all the leftists, okay? You right-wing death squad people. What good would it do? Say you killed all of the SJWs, all of the leftists tomorrow. The Jews still own your countries. They still have infiltrated all of your governments, and they are the ones that control your banks and your money. You are still a slave to their usury. If all the leftists are gone tomorrow, wow, that made absolutely no difference. Okay, less fat, ugly people to look at. That's nice, but really, it has done nothing. You are still under the thumb of world Jewry.
French women that banged Nazis were beaten, their heads were shaved, they were paraded through the streets. Sometimes they were tarred, stripped half naked, and swastikas drawn on them. And rightfully so, they deserved worse.
Okay, so now she's going into some things that happened after, some French women had slept with some National Socialist men that were occupying their country, and how they were publicly shamed, tarred and feathered, had swastikas, drawn on them, and this woman is applauding this. She's using this as an example of how women are disloyal to their in-group. Last time I checked, Germans are white. And how is that not part of their in-group? This is a race. You talk about racism at the end of your video. You say, we need to stop being afraid of being called racists. I think it's very interesting that you actually use the anti-German slur of Nazi, because these people never called themselves Nazis. And to say that these women deserved that for sleeping with attractive Ubermensch, really? It's not like they were going and screwing sub-Saharan Africans. They were having sex with beautiful, blonde-haired, blue-eyed German studs. Like, is it really that bad? I really don't get it. And that's some kind of shining example of how women betray their people. Really? Come on. You can come up with something better than that. And then basically what she's doing is comparing the Nazis to Muslims of today. That makes absolutely no sense, lady.
So, they deserved worse?
She says they deserved worse. You think these women should have been hung? You think these women should have been executed for sleeping with other white men that weren't French while their country is being occupied? Really? I thought women are supposed to desire the most, attractive genetics, and we're supposed to, that's part of our biology, right? Is to seek out a mate that we think has supreme genetics because we want our offspring to be the best. I think they were doing what's natural and what's healthy for women to do. I really don't see the issue here with French women sleeping with German men. And comparing that today to women miscegenating, it doesn't add up. Now, do I agree with miscegenation? Absolutely not. But for you as a woman to say that women need to be dragged out and publicly beaten for miscegenating? What about the men that are miscegenating? I disagree with all race mixing, but I would not want to see our men who were brainwashed and made terrible choices beaten in public. Do you get some kind of satisfaction out of that? And would you advocate for white men who have miscegenated to be dragged out into public and beaten? I think they need to be shamed. I think they absolutely need to be scorned and shamed, but I think that they deserve a chance to learn the truth. And if the truth is presented to them and they choose to go off and mud shark, or they choose to go off and have their yellow fever, then that's their problem. You know, whatever. You're gone. We tried. But this whole idea of wanting to publicly beat these women, it sounds very Jewish to me, lady. Like, really? Why do you have such a hatred towards your own women? Do you think that every single woman is retarded? Or do you want to be the special snowflake and say that, oh, all these women are terrible, but me, with my princess pillow, I'm different. I'm special. I mean, really? That's what it seems like.
So it seems that only public humiliation, because of sensitivity to social alienation, can get women in line. A public beating is in order for all these treasonous European women sanctioning the migrant influx.
She says, only public humiliation can get women in line. I think men and women need to get their shit together, because it's pathetic what our people have become. Now, I am not going to sit here and blame them for it. I will tell them the truth whenever I have the opportunity and try to show them a better way, but if they don't want to, that's their choice. But saying that they need to be publicly humiliated, in your eyes, I think that means publicly beaten, like with sticks. Do you want this to become an Islamic country? I mean, it sounds like you do. You want women to be publicly beaten? That is Islam. So you are advocating for something that you declare is the enemy. Islam is the enemy, not the Jews. Totally not the Jews. Islam, right? That's who you say the enemy is. Yet you are advocating for an Islamic system where women are publicly beaten. Where's the logic and reason? I thought you guys were all full of it, since you're so different than us feminists. Apparently I'm a feminist too, because I'm against stuff like this. I'm against women being collectively blamed for white genocide.
A public beating is in order for all these treasonous European women sanctioning the migrant influx.
How did European women sanction the migrant influx? Is it European women who are opening the gates? Is it European women who are pulling the strings? You think Angela Merkel is completely responsible for this genocide? She's a puppet. She does whatever her Jewish masters tell her to do, or they'll kill her. That's how it works. Now, am I trying to let Angela Merkel off the hook? Hell no, she's a Jew. She's a communist Jewess. So to compare her to white women is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Because emasculated men and feminists inherently reject tribalism.
Feminists inherently reject tribalism. Now, what is your definition of feminist? Because I'm called a feminist all the time. Even though I have a child, I will have more. I'm married, I'm in a monogamous relationship. I love being a stay-at-home mom whenever I can. However, I do have to work part-time once in a while to help assist my family, and I'm more than happy to do that. Now, what is your definition of a feminist? Apparently, I'm a feminist because I don't blame women for white genocide. Really, I have not had... Oh, and I'm against the Christian gaytriarchy. It's not a true patriarchy. It's run by faggots. So I'm against the Christian gaytriarchy that despises women. And you'll say, what are you talking about? I know a Christian guy and he loves his wife. Well, let's look at the book that these people are reading. Okay, let's just take a look at some of the things that they say in this wonderful, wonderful book. I'll read you a few heartwarming Bible passages here. All right, here we go. You guys ready for Bible study time? Get ready. Okay. For man did not come from woman, but woman from man. Neither was man created for woman, but woman for man. Women are to be silent in the churches. They are not permitted to speak, but must be in submission, as the law says. Mind you, this is Yahweh, the sky kike, that is telling us what we should do. That makes sense. A woman must learn in quietness and full submissiveness. I do not permit a woman to teach or exercise authority over a man. She is to remain quiet, for Adam was formed first and then Eve. To be controlled, pure managers of their households, kind and subject to their own husbands. So we are, subjects to our husbands, so that the word of God will not be discredited. Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord. Now, this whole idea that women need to submit to any man is just absolutely ridiculous. I believe in a meritocracy. I don't believe in a patriarchy. I don't believe in a matriarchy. I believe in a meritocracy, where if you can do it, then if you're the best at it, then you get to do it. I think it's absolutely ridiculous to say that all men are these shining, wonderful leaders. Hello, have you seen the most of the alt-right? They are anime-watching little virgins who can't even support a family, yet expect to have 10 wives. And I know I'm going to get so much hate for that because I'm such an evil feminist. If you call yourself alt-right and you're not like that, then don't get triggered. The ones that get so triggered that I know I've struck a nerve with because they know it's true. Another thing I don't get to is these apparently heathen women like Lana Lockteff, who is advocating for a Christian patriarchy. What? That makes absolutely no sense. Your heathenry was destroyed. I mean, it's still somewhat intact, and the people that still carry it on, very small amounts, but it was attacked by the Christian patriarchy. People like you, Blonde in the Belly of the Beast, Lana, Lauren Southern, all of you women would not be allowed to have your little blogs and your little clothing stores and all of that in a patriarchy. You understand? This is not, I don't know what you think is so good about it.
They do not have a sense of cultural superiority.
We don't have a sense of cultural superiority. No. I think the white race is the best. And I say it all the time. You can call me a white supremacist. I am. Now, does that mean that I want to go kill and genocide the other races? No, because I'm not a Jew. It's like a sports team. Every race should think they're the best, and they do. I mean, Africans think that they were kangs. So, whatever, let them have their little delusions. We don't have to kill them over it, but I think we are the best. And apparently I'm a feminist, so that's weird, right? I'm a Nazi, and I'm a feminist, and I'm a white supremacist. That's really confusing, all these labels. Wow, what are we going to do?
And as such, they will not criticize Islam.
It says that apparently feminists will not criticize Islam. Now, I'm against a lot of this feminist crap because it's very anti-white in nature. I do agree with some of their points on some of the shady characters like Roosh and all of these pieces of filth, but I don't agree with their anti-white stance, and that's why I don't align myself with them. But to say that they are, for Islam, yeah, I'm sure there's a majority of retards that are saying, oh, Islam is not the problem. Well, really, it's not just Islam that is the problem. It's the Abrahamic religions, the trifecta. You have Jewry, Islam, and Christianity. Boom! That's the trifecta of Abrahamic religions that despise women, children, and men. It's funny that she says that these feminists just turn a blind eye, because even after the Cologne incident, you had feminists, I think one of them was naked, which is retarded, put some clothes on, dumb woman. But I think there were several feminists that were protesting these events and that speak out on Islam a lot. Now, apparently it's only feminists that are the ones trying to find excuses as to why these people are so violent. No, I've argued with so many of my male friends that I can't even talk to anymore because they're constantly making excuses for this behavior. What they're doing is not justified. But we need to understand where their hatred for the Western world is coming. That's because, like I said earlier, we are bombing the shit out of these people because we have been duped into thinking that it is the right thing to do. That is how you dupe white people into doing things. You have to make it seem like they are the ones going in to do the right thing, to serve justice, and to fight for freedom, right? All of these emotionally charged words that it works on men and women. Now, we're going in and bombing the shit out of innocent people that haven't done anything, that are just living their lives, and we're going over and killing them for Jews. So Jews can make more money, so Jews can expand their territory, and so Jews can get rid of the trash. They call it mowing the lawn when they bomb innocent Palestinian people. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I guess I'm going to be called a leftist now for calling out the hypocrisy and the crimes that world Jewry are committing, not only against us, but against the Middle East as well.
We must know our enemy, and our enemy is Islam.
So again, it's just Islam is the enemy. You don't mention Jews once. You don't mention the Jews that are behind bringing them into our country. You don't mention the genocidal quotes that these Jews throw around like it's nobody's business. I find that very questionable. How you, a supposedly researched young woman, just for some reason totally didn't see the overwhelming body of evidence that proves that Jews are behind white genocide and they're behind the wars in the Middle East. Not only are innocent Muslims and Arabs dying, innocent white men and women are dying. For what? For what? Nothing. Nothing that they're fighting for helps us or helps anybody but the Jews. And I think this whole anti-feminist thing is just an absolute joke at this point, because none of you people call out the Jews. None of you people call out who's actually behind this, and you all scapegoat and blame women. I think that's the weakest position anyone could ever take, and you all should be ashamed of yourselves. It takes way more guts to call out the person, to call out the entity that is completely dominating our entire world. Why, a lot of people will say, well, I'll get thrown in jail for hate speech. So basically by saying that, you're admitting that Jews control absolutely everything and you can't call them out. Do you think the Holocaust happened, blonde, in the belly of the beast? Have you looked into that? Are you pro-Israel? Probably. I'm going to close out with this. What is feminism? So the online dictionary defines it as the advocacy of women's rights on the grounds of political, social, and economic equality to men. So the origin and etymology of the word feminism is qualities of females, advocacy of women's rights, from French féminisme. The word has been around for a long time and nothing negative was associated with it. Question: who changed the wording and why did they change it? And why all the negativity? So to find the answer, we need look no further than when women's liberation became feminism. So let's introduce you to the Jew. And not only is she a Jew, she's mulatto, okay? So we have Rebecca Walker. She penned a paper, and within it we find that this is the first instance of the word feminism being used for women's liberation. Okay, the half-African Jew princess whose mother wrote The Color Purple, can't make this shit up, took over the movement. She is credited with it. Of course she is. She is a Jew after all. They love taking credit. And just looking at this woman, she's hideous. She's disgusting. Ugh. All right. Here's a quote from Miss Walker. It has been proposed that Walker has become somewhat of a symbol of the third wave's focus on queer and non-white women. Okay. Third wave feminists have broadened their goals, focusing on ideas like queer theory and abolishing gender role expectations and stereotypes. Walker took over what the white women had started. And the white women were not interested in embracing faggotry and dykes. They weren't interested in appeasing non-white women, although a lot of them have been brainwashed into doing so, and that is because of the anti-white propaganda that is shoved down our throats from day one. Not only are there toxic environments that we're forced to live in, vaccinations, poisonous food, chemicals everywhere, but there are also mind viruses that are, implanted directly into our subconscious everywhere we go. You think that you are immune to the programming when you turn on your TV and that flicker rate puts you into a hypnotic state. You may not be registering it here, but your subconscious is getting all of that. And that's why a lot of these leftists and SJWs that you all obsess over, because apparently they wield so much power. Apparently it's obese dykes with pink armpit hair and tattoos that are taking over the world, while we're all, I can't believe it. I didn't know that frickin' Bertha over there was, trying to genocide the white race, one tattoo and one cat at a time. I'm just going to read a little bit from this article here. which is a total feminist article because it wants to get rid of the Christian patriarchy and bring back our ancient pre-Christian belief systems that had the balance between the feminine and the masculine. It was not about one of them being better than the other. It was about working together. We are different. We have different strengths, and we are complementary forces. And that's why there is so much energy being directed at fueling this gender war. And a lot of people will say that I'm fueling it because I'm constantly defending women. And that's not the case at all. I have not once ever blamed what is happening to our people on white men. Never. Never. I've never done that. I constantly put my neck on the line to expose the real criminals who are doing this. They have names. They're out in the open with it. It's not very hard to direct people to the truth. So shame on you people who continue to blame people that have nothing to do with this, that continue to scapegoat because you're all too afraid to stand up and name the true enemy. Shame on you. So basically what has happened here is women's liberation became entwined with Jewish-inspired, vile, nasty, non-white, homo-loving, male-hating ideology known as feminism. It is no wonder the word has negative connotations, and it certainly does, but now people are throwing it around like they do racist. It seriously has become the new racist, the new buzzword. Feminist! Beep, beep, feminist, 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 feminist. Oh, she said something that I don't agree with, so feminist, feminist, feminist. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so I personally, I don't want to be grouped in with Jews, non-whites, gays, lesbians, or any of that crap. And I don't want to be grouped in with people that want to do away with our men and want to have abortions as a form of birth control and want to abolish the family unit. I am entirely against that. And I don't know, you guys can keep calling me a feminist. It's fine. It's totally fine. It doesn't really bother me, and if that's what I am to you, that's cool. So it is really important that we realize that our women, white nationalist, heathen women, it's important that we stand up for our rights and not advocate what any of these Jewesses have put into our once pure movement. And we are not advocating for the removal of men, quite the opposite. We love our men deeply, and we see how important they are to our lives and to our struggle. All we are advocating for is for the restoration of what we always had before Christianity came and took it away. Thank you for watching.